Hi everyone, it's Stacy. Thank you for coming on this yoga leap with me. Welcome if you are new. Welcome if you've been practicing with me for a while now. So this week I've got my chair, I've got the mat. We're going to be doing a nice sort of flow with some core work. Don't be scared, just to strengthen that core so that we're stronger in our standing postures. We'll do some standing postures, maybe a balance, and then we'll bring it all down to the mat, stretch it out a little bit, and finish with our regular relaxation. So I do have the chair here. I'm not going to be cueing too much in the chair. Mostly we'll be doing some standing work, but the chair is there for support. You can always choose to use the chair for support or do the postures in the chair. But I recommend always, if possible for your body, to try something new this week. So maybe if you find yourself always practicing in the chair, maybe if it's possible, again, getting out of the chair and seeing what we can do standing up. I think that's everything. If you have props you like to practice with, blocks are always good. They bring the floor up closer, especially when we're doing some of those standing postures. But the chair can act like a block as well as a source of support for you. If you have bolsters, blankets, music, anything else that you like to practice with, go ahead and grab that now and we'll get started. I'll meet you back there on my mat. We're going to start lying down on our backs. So just go ahead and make your way down to your back any way that feels safe and comfortable for you. I'm just going to go ahead and sit down, and I'll roll down to my back in just a minute. Like I was saying in the intro, I do have the chair. If you find you ever want to do any of the stretches or postures in the chair, go ahead and find the chair. Also, the options are, if we're standing, we're going to be coming into a pyramid pose at one point, which is a hamstring stretch. So I'll just demonstrate a couple of options for hamstring stretches on the floor. So when we are coming in later into our pyramid pose, an option for a hamstring stretch is to be on one knee with a leg out in front and hinging over the leg, feeling the stretch down the back line of the leg. The chair option for a stretch like that, same thing, sitting in the chair, supporting on one bent leg, one leg straight out in front, hinging forward, feeling that nice stretch down the back of the outstretched leg. When we're in our warrior postures, warrior two can be done with a support of the chair by stepping the feet wide, turning the hips and torso to face forward. And this is our warrior two option, being supported by the chair. Our warrior one, same thing. We just will be facing this way instead of towards the camera, facing towards whatever's in front of you. Here for me it's a wall, and coming into our warrior one this way. So the chair can be used for our warrior series, and even when we come into a bit of a quad stretch, option to be seated in the chair and supported by the chair, finding a quad stretch. That, let me show you from the side. Seated, supported by the chair, coming into a quad stretch here. Option to lift the arm for balance. So those are a few of the options. Child's pose, of course, in the chair is folding forward. And if you are on the floor, child's pose on the floor is an option. If we come into a couple of downward dog options, and you're using your chair, the chair can be used to help your downward dog not be so forward. So downward dog, normally is like this on the floor, where we're really pressing into the hands, bringing the torso towards the legs and letting the head come through the arms. If you want to use the chair for downward dog, your option is to use, depending on the type of chair you have, the back of the chair here, stepping back, still bringing the torso towards the thighs, still dropping the head between the arms, feeling a nice big long stretch. So a couple of options there. I know that felt fast and furious, but like I said, I'm going to try and mostly not go in the chair during the flow to try and keep it moving. But now you know a few options if that is the best option for you. Okay, now let's make our way down to the floor, and we'll start with our warm up. So again, if you're in the chair, go ahead, sit in the chair, find a comfortable seat, and close the eyes if that feels comfortable. If you're making your way down to your back, go ahead, make your way to the floor, finding a comfortable position to start in Shavasana. Legs can be straight out in front of you if that feels best, or legs can be bent. Hands can be down by our side, or resting one on our belly, one on our heart center, or in your lap if you're in the chair. So really just whatever feels comfortable, so that we can start to turn our attention to our breath. Maybe just noticing the breath, noticing the speed of the inhales and exhales. Noticing how deep or shallow the breath might be. There's no right or wrong here. We're just noticing, maybe even to help us tune our awareness inward even more. Can we follow the pattern of our breath? So maybe we're noticing our belly rise and then our chest rise, or maybe just the belly is rising or just the chest. Again, there's no right or wrong. Just follow those inhales and exhales. See if you can even see the pattern. So is your breath feeling like a circle? So it's flowing in and out in a circle? Or does it feel a bit linear, coming in and out of the body in a straight line? Maybe it doesn't feel like any of those things, but what patterns do you see in your breath? And as we're noticing our breath, maybe just noticing our physical bodies, noticing where we're touching either our chair or our mat, where are we being supported physically, and where can we feel some little peaks of lightness. So maybe that's the low back, maybe if the knees are bent, the back of the knees are not touching the mat, maybe behind the neck. We'll take a couple of deep breaths here, and if creating a little motto or mantra is part of your practice, go ahead and do that here. You can inhale your motto, maybe it's something like I am grounded. And it can be the same thing on the exhale or something different. I am present, let it go. Inhale your motto here. And exhale it. One more time. The eyes can stay closed or you can flutter the eyes open. Let's just start to draw one knee in towards our chest. If you're seated in the chair, same thing here, just draw the knee in. Maybe you want to curl the forehead towards the knee, maybe not. Give it a squeeze and then let it go, and we'll switch sides here. Draw the knee in, give it a squeeze. Maybe we curl the forehead towards the knee, whether we're seated or lying down, and release. Let's do that again with the first leg. Maybe draw it down to the side body a little bit. Create a little bit more opening here. Maybe drawing the head up, maybe not. And release. And drawing that second leg down towards the side body, creating a little bit more opening here. Maybe curling in and release. Good. Let's draw both legs in if we're on the ground. If you're seated in the chair, continue lifting one leg, then the other. If we're on the ground, drawing both legs in, you can reach on top of the shins or behind the knees here. Give yourself a squeeze, maybe lifting the forehead and release. And now let's get into waking up the hips a little bit. So grabbing onto the knees anywhere that feels comfortable and creating some big circles, as big or as small as you like. Drawing the knees away from each other in opposite directions and then in. You might feel like you're rocking over top of the tailbone a little bit. That's okay. And then maybe switching directions. Do a couple of circles here. When you feel evened out, draw the knees back in, give yourself another squeeze, or continue to lift one leg, then the other if you're in the chair. If you're on the ground, maybe start to rock side to side here. Coming through center. Now the knees have been tucked in this whole time. Let's see if we can take our hands, put them on our knees, and press our arms so they're straight. So now our legs are in a tabletop. They're in about a 90-degree angle. You can picture yourself, if you were in your tabletop, this is sort of what you would look like if you were on your mat. We're going to get there. Right now we're here on this upside down tabletop. Now, if you're in the chair, we're going to be moving through a little bit of core work through a dead bug. If you're in the chair, you can just lift one leg. I'll just demonstrate. If you're in the chair, you'll lift one leg, one arm, and then do a little crunch and extend and lower, and then you'll switch sides. For those of us on the mat, we're going to straighten our arms out, come into this nice tabletop position here. We'll lift our arms up as well. You can try and relax the shoulders down. We're going to do a dead bug. You can do the opposite arm and leg lift that I just demonstrated, or you can do dead bug, where we're going to engage through the core here, and then we're going to lower our right leg and our left arm, engaging through the core and then lifting back up, and then opposite side. At the same time, let's lower left arm, left leg, right arm. Doesn't really matter. We're just moving in opposite arm and leg movements here, engaging through the core the whole time. This is called our dead bug. I don't know why it's a dead bug. I don't think a dead bug would be moving. But who knows? Bugs are kind of crazy. So keep moving with lowering opposite arm and leg, engaging through the core here. Don't let the back come off the mat. And if the knees start to come in a little too much, let's just reposition them by pushing the arms nice and straight. Let's do a couple more on each side. Keeping that core engaged. All right, let's come up through center. Good. Let's see if we can draw our knees towards the sides of our body, send the feet up towards the ceiling. You might reach behind the thighs, maybe the ankles or calves, or maybe you can reach all the way to the soles of the feet. Draw the knees down into your happy baby. If you're in the chair, just step the feet nice and wide and find a big forward fold in between the legs. If you're on the mat here, press the hands into the feet, feet into the hands. This is our happy baby. You can stay here in stillness. You could rock side to side. You could maybe even extend one leg out to the side and then the other. I don't have room here. So whatever feels best. We'll stay for 3 more breaths. Keep drawing the knees down for 2, pressing into the hands. Last breath here. And then draw the feet together, draw the knees together. And as the feet come down to the mat, just step them about mat width, just so we can windshield wiper a little bit. Feel a little bit of stretch and opening through the hip flexors after all that dead bug work. Good. Couple more here. And then when you're ready, we'll come through center. We'll just roll over to one side, and we're going to roll all the way into our tabletop, like I was saying. I'm just going to turn to face this way. I just have a bit more room if my feet are going out that way. We're going to spread our fingers, stack our wrists under our shoulders, stack our knees under our hips. We're going to continue engaging through that core. We'll do a couple of rounds of cat-cow. Drop the belly, look up, tilt the tailbone up, and then exhale, press the mat away, round through the spine. Inhale, drop that belly, stretch out the core, and exhale. One more here. Okay, let's find that neutral spine. Now for those of you in the chair, we're going to sort of join you now with that core work of opposite leg, opposite arm, and elbow meeting knee underneath our belly. So you guys are way ahead of us. Keep going in the chair. For those of us on the floor, let's kick our left leg out, lift the toes up, engage the glutes, and then reach the opposite arm forward. So kind of like dead bug, but we're in a more elongated position here. We're going to reach through fingers and toes on the inhale, and then exhale, we're going to push the mat away, round through the spine, and connect elbow to knee underneath. And then we're going to inhale and lower, and we'll switch sides. Right leg kicks out, use that glute, reach left arm forward, stretch and inhale. Exhale, push the mat away, round through the spine, connect elbow to knee. Inhale for length and lower. All right, let's do that again, moving with breath. Inhale, exhale round, Inhale and lower. Again on the other side. Inhale. Exhale, round, connect elbow to knee. Inhale and lower. Last time on each side. Here we go. Inhale, round and exhale. Inhale, lower. Last one. Moving with your breath. And lower. Excellent. Send the hips back. Find a child's pose. Knees can come apart. Make room for that belly and heart center. Melt down. If you're in the chair, fold forward over the legs. Take a breath. Breathe into the backside body. Try and get the hips heavy on the heels. We're going to be making our way up to standing. So you can do that by lifting the forehead, coming into tabletop, maybe stepping through and using yourself as a support or using your chair. Or you may want to come through a downward dog where we'll come back into tabletop from child's pose, curl the toes under, and then we're going to lift the hips up and back, finding our downward dog. Chest is moving towards the thighs, heels are reaching towards the ground, and we're really sort of pushing the mat away to create a nice long line of energy. If you're already standing at the top of the mat, find a few rounds of breath. We're going to join you there soon. From downward dog, you can walk, hop, or step up to the top of the mat here. Exhale, and then on the inhale, let's roll all the way back up. When we get to the top, maybe roll the shoulders, maybe even sweep the arms up. And exhale the hands down to our side. We're in our mountain pose. Let's just pause here for a breath. If you're in the chair, sitting up nice and tall, core is engaged, whether we're standing or seated. Softness in the knees. Just connect to your mantra, your motto for one more round of breath. And then when we're ready, let's step our leg back. Let's step our left leg back so that our right foot is going to be facing this way. We're bending into the knee. We're going to turn our torso and hips, and we're going to make our way into our warrior two. So a nice straight line of energy down the back here. Arms will reach shoulder height. We'll relax them here. And we're going to make sure that our knee isn't falling in. We want to try and angle it out towards the pinky toes here, as well as keeping the hips nice. You see, I was leaning forward a little bit. For warrior two, we want to stay nice and present and grounded. We want to align hips and shoulders. This is our warrior two, being very present in warrior two. It's not about the future. It's not about the past. Not in warrior two. Staying here, rooting down, gaze off the front fingers. Let's stay here for a breath. Remember, if you're in the chair, it looks exactly the same, except your pelvis is just being supported by the chair here. All right, we're going to take a big inhale, flip our front hand, and reach all the way back for our reverse warrior. Hand can be supported on the back leg, or it can wrap around our back here. We're still bending into that front leg. Trying to wrap the ribs underneath and turn the heart space up towards the ceiling. One more breath. Let's inhale back through warrior two. Now we're going to reach into the future a little bit. Till we can't reach anymore, we still have a bent leg. We're going to rest our elbow there, but we're not going to collapse. We're going to still use core strength to stay nice and open. And then this back arm can reach up or over. Or if it's too much, bring it down, stick it in your back pocket, wrap it around your back. Anything to help open up the front body towards the front of the room here. Stay for another breath. I'm just going to bring my hand up, creating that long line of energy. One more breath. And we're going to use our core strength to come back up through warrior two and all the way back to reverse it. One more time. Now we're going to come back to warrior two. We're going to straighten that front leg. We're going to reach back into the future, until we can't reach anymore, and then we'll just tip into our triangle. So here we want to sort of engage through the core, turn the body towards the front of the room. If the top arm is too much, bring it down, stick it in your back pocket, roll the shoulder open. You can use a block for support here, or your chair if you're using a chair, or just the pressure of the arm into the leg, leg into the arm. Opening up for one more breath in triangle. Then to help us get up, we may want to bend into that front leg, come back up through warrior two. Maybe let's do one more reverse and release. We can straighten the leg, turn the toes so they're both facing forward, hands come to hips. Inhale here, fold forward. Again, you can come down to a chair, block, or the floor. Legs can stay straight or bent. We can stay with a flat back, or we can melt down. Let the head hang heavy. And then when we're ready, we will come all the way back up. We're going to engage through the core here so we can release the hands and hinge all the way back up. That's a big movement. Now we're going to go straight into the other side. If you want to take a break and shake out the legs, go ahead and do that now. Make any adjustments. And then we'll come back into our wide leg stance and we'll tick-tock the feet so that now the left leg is pointing this way, toes are pointing this way, right leg, toes are pointing this way. We'll bend into that leg. We're going to come into our warrior two. So we have a nice wide stance, torso, hips aligned, facing the front, arms come out wide as well. Look off the front fingers, stay rooted and heavy and grounded in your warrior two. Remember, if you're in the chair is just supporting your pelvis underneath here. It looks basically the same. Let's take a big inhale here and flip that front palm so that we can reverse our warrior, still bending in that front leg, looking up, spinning the heart up towards the sky, back arm resting or wrapping behind if it's too much. All right, let's inhale back up through our warrior two. Now we'll reach into the future until our elbow can rest on our knee. We're still nice and strong through the torso. Arm can reach up, over, or can come behind us, where we'll roll our shoulder open. And we still have that nice long line of energy no matter where our arm is landing. Staying here, nice and open and strong for 3 more breaths. Spin those bottom ribs under for 1 more breath. Use that strength to come all the way back up to warrior two. Reverse. Come back up through warrior two. We'll straighten through this front leg here. We're going to reach all the way into the future again. Send the hips back and then tip into triangle. So same thing. You might be resting your hand on a block or the chair. You might just be using the pressure of the hand and leg here at the bottom to create that openness. And the top arm can reach up, or if it's too much, stick it in your back pocket. Roll the shoulder open. And look your gaze wherever you feel like you're not going to tip over. Triangle's a lot of strength and balance work. To help us get back up, we may want to bend in to this leg. And come up to warrior two. We'll do 1 more reverse. And then we'll come up to warrior two, straighten the legs, turn the toes so they face forward, hands on hips again. Let's find another forward fold, anything that feels good. Maybe you want to bend and straighten through one leg, maybe not. Maybe you want to even heel toe the feet in a little bit and come down into a squat. That might feel nice as well. So anything that feels okay. If you're choosing this squat, but it's a little out of your reach, a block might feel nice underneath there to help you sort of sit up high, find that nice tall spine. All right, so wherever we are, we need to get out of it. So if we're in this deep squat, we're going to have to use our strength, come all the way up to standing. If you're in the wide leg fold, hinge all the way back up. Let's turn to the top of our mat. Take a big breath here. Let's reach the fingers up over to one side for a side bend. Inhale back up through center. Exhale, side bend the other way. Inhale through center. Exhale, release the hands. Okay, let's stretch out the quads a little bit. So I was demonstrating the quad stretch in the chair. You just might want to turn sideways and can reach for a quad stretch. If we're standing, a couple of options. So we want to come into a balance. We'll transfer our weight into our right foot here. Hand can be on the hip. I can face the front here. Hand can be on the hip or out to the side. And we're going to transfer the weight into our standing leg here and reach for the opposite ankle or foot and see if we can come into a nice quad stretch. Now for the quad stretch, I'll turn sideways. we want to align the knees. We don't want the knee poking out or way back. We want to try and align these two knees here and tilt the pelvis under. You'll feel that nice quad stretch. You can stay here, or if you're feeling quite stable, maybe you want to lift opposite arm and hinge forward, kicking that foot up towards the ceiling and coming into dancers. Now we don't want to open the hip. We want to stay nice and close through the hips here for dancer's pose, or of course staying in your quad stretch. I'm going to choose that quad stretch. I'm feeling a little wobbly, but those are your options. Let's stay for 2 more breaths. 1 more breath. And we can release with a bit of grace and ease, and then we'll switch sides. I'll just turn around here. We can bring our hands on our hips. We can have our arms outstretched. We'll transfer the weight into the opposite legs, into that left leg. See if we can reach that right ankle or foot, and see if we can keep those knees aligned. Not out here, not out in front here. I know it's a little hard to see with my black leggings. Let's see, there we go. So it's not like this, not like this. Stay nice and stable here for a quad stretch. If you are feeling balanced though, and you want to come into dancer, start kicking that foot up like you're going to try and step on the ceiling as you hinge forward. So it's a bit more open. You still get that nice quad stretch. Make sure the hips are pointing down. I'm coming back to the quad stretch, like I said, feeling a little wobbly in my dancer's pose. 2 more breaths here. And release with a bit of grace and ease. Shake it out. Just windshield wiper it. Okay, we're going to come into a Warrior One Humble Warrior series. So from the top of our mat, let's step our left leg back. This time the foot's going to plant, and the toes are going to point sort of forward and almost forward, and the hips and torso are going to face this front leg as we bend into the front leg. So you can see how it's different from Warrior Two. Warrior One, we're facing this way. If you're seated in the chair, scooch to the edge of the chair. It's still supporting you underneath your seat there. Bending into that front leg. Let's inhale, find Warrior One arms. They can be any arms. We're eventually going to exhale and bring them behind us to open up through the chest. And you want to make sure in your Warrior One as well that your feet are not in line, that they're more on train tracks. So you can see that I have this nice space here. That's going to help with balance in our Warrior One. We're going to reach the knuckles down. If this feels good, stay here. Option is to, on the exhale, hinge forward, finding Humble Warrior. Now this is feeling good. You can stay here, or you can mix it up and inhale back up and then exhale back down. So a few options. Inhale to come up if you're flowing. Exhale down. Inhale to come up, staying here so we can all meet in this standing Warrior One. And then we're going to straighten up through the front leg. We're going to come into a pyramid pose. So we're going to fold over that front straight leg. You may need to shorten the stance. So you may need to just step that back foot in a little bit. Both legs are relatively straight. Hips are facing the front leg. And from here, we can release our grasp, bring hands to hips, and start to hinge forward. Nice long back. Now here's where maybe you have a chair to rest on. This is a great pyramid pose stretch. If you're on the ground doing some of this work, the hamstring stretch might look like this. Send the hips back. Feel that stretch along the front leg. Same in the chair. Send one leg out in front of you, one leg for support. If we're standing, we're hinged over that front leg. We're dropping the left hip forward, right hip back. We can stay lifted or melt down. It's a hamstring stretch. It's deep. Keep drawing the left hip forward, right hip back. Stay for one more breath. Then we're going to make our way all the way back up. So maybe we step the foot back a little bit for a bit of space. Maybe we bend into the front leg and help us get all the way back up. Let's take a big inhale and exhale. Good. Let's step to the top of the mat. We'll shake it out. I'll just flip this way. From the top of the mat, mountain pose. We'll step our opposite leg back. So again, we're in Warrior One. So these hips want to turn and face the front leg. We want to make sure the feet are on train tracks, not parallel. Both feet are down, facing kind of forward. Hips this way. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, open up or sweep the arms behind. Maybe clasp the opposite fingers so it feels kind of weird, and open up through the front here, still bending into that front leg. And the options, of course, are to stay here with this nice open heart, or on the exhale, hinge forward into your humble warrior. If this feels good, staying here, or move with breath. Inhale to come up, exhale, forward. Inhale to come up, exhale, forward. Let's all meet standing. Inhale here. We're going to straighten through that leg, release the clasp, find hands on hips. Maybe we shorten the stance here, knowing we're going into our pyramid pose. Make sure the hips are square. Inhale, and then exhale, hinge over that front leg. Maybe we're on our chair, our blocks. Maybe we're reaching the floor and melting all the way down. Now we want to draw this right hip forward, left hip back. We want to try and square them off to the front of the room still. Staying for 3 rounds of breath, hamstring stretch in whatever shape you're in, on the floor, the chair, or pyramid. 1 more cycle. All right. Let's come out of our pyramid. We may need to make the stance bigger. We may need to bend that front leg. Come all the way up. Let's take a big inhale. And exhale, step to the top of the mat. Shake it out. All right. A couple of good series there. It's a pretty active one. Let's do a few more stretches on the ground. So make your way down however you like. If you like to flow through a vinyasa, go ahead. If you want to just walk down, make your way down. No problem. We're going to meet seated on our sit bones. I'm maybe going to flow through a little vinyasa. You can join me here. Inhale, exhale, forward fold. Let's inhale, just go halfway, drag the hands, find a nice long back, and then exhale, forward fold here. We'll step all the way back to plank or low plank. Let's lower down, find our cobra, and then push back to downward dog or child's pose. Take a breath. If you're in downward dog, lower the knees. If you're in child's pose, let's climb on up, roll onto one hip, and we're going to come into nice couple of side stretches, side bends, stretch out some of these legs that have been working so hard. So let's tuck the right leg in, left leg out to the side. We'll turn and face the short bent leg, reach the arm along the outstretched leg, and then find our way into a side stretch here. So stay rooted down through the sit bone here. Find that nice big side stretch. Awesome. Let's come on up and come into a twist. Let's come around to the front, switching sides. Left foot tucks in. Turn the torso to the bent leg, reach along the outstretched leg, inhale here, exhale, side bend. Stay heavy through the sit bones. And inhale, come on up. We'll twist, letting the arm cross the body. Nice and easy here. Coming around through center, let's draw both feet in. We'll come into our butterfly. So soles of the feet come together. They can be as close or as far as you'd like. You can flap the legs, you can lean forward, have the elbows help make a bit more space, whatever works for you here. You can even massage your feet a little bit if that feels good. The legs and feet do a lot of work for us. I'm not sure they get enough attention until they hurt us. Then they get all the attention, but let's be a little proactive and give them a little love. And we'll come on up. Let's draw the knees together. I'm just going to turn so I'm on the long edge of my mat here And I'm going to make my way back down. I'm going to unroll. You can use a leg as a lever. You can roll all the way down using core. You can make your way down any way that feels good. When you get there, draw both knees in, rock side to side. If you're in the chair, of course, one knee in, then the other. Nice and easy here. Let's lower the feet down, keep the knees bent. We'll just do a bridge here just to open up through the front side body. Hands down by our side. If you're in the chair, just do a seated cat-cow. We'll just open up through front side body that way. Press into the hands and feet, squeeze the glutes, lift up, open up. You can stick a block under here. That would be a nice, easy, gentle, supported bridge. You can maybe walk your arms underneath. That might increase the height of the bridge if that's what you're looking for. If you practice wheel, go ahead and do that. We'll just stay for a couple more breaths here. Keep lifting through the hips, pressing the hands and feet into the mat for 3, 2, and 1. Release blocks, release hands from underneath, lower down, good. And anything that feels good here, go ahead and do that. You may want a windshield, you may want to come into a figure 4 and stretch out the hips a little bit. We can do that. Maybe you want to have a gentle legs up the wall. I'm actually going to come into that for Shavasana. I'll show you a nice chair option. Switching sides if you're stretching out one side then the other. And then when you're ready, we'll let it go. Now, I was mentioning legs up the wall. You can do a nice airy one where you just want to lift the legs up, let them be heavy, sort of let them rest on your belly almost, let the belly do the work. This is a nice way to get the blood flowing sort of naturally back towards the heart. It always flows towards the heart. It's nice to give it a little help this way. I like to do this in between airplane rides. I was recently on a big trip, and just before getting on the long haul flight, I'll lie down on the airport floor and put my legs up in the air for a bit. You can also rest them against an actual wall if you have that. And another option, if you have a chair, even if you didn't practice in the chair, it's nice to use a chair for something like this. This is a lovely, easy, gentle option for legs up the wall. And this is how I'm going to end my practice today. So I'm going to settle in here. You find the position that feels best for you. Hands down by your side, palms turned up. If it's comfortable for you to close your eyes, go ahead and do that. Let's all take a big breath together here. Let it go. And just start to scan your body from head to toe, noticing if there are any areas you are still holding on to any tension. See if we can just let it go. A couple more of those big breaths might help. Shavasana is the time for our physical and energetic bodies to absorb all that good work we just did and turn it into something magical. It's a time for integration and rest. And know that rest is different from sleep and that we need both every day. And we should never pass up an opportunity to just rest and do nothing. Now, of course, the beauty of practicing through the video is that if your body wants or needs to stay in Shavasana for any longer, go ahead, press pause, let the video play out. If you're ready to start to bring a bit of movement to your body, you can wiggle fingers and toes, circle wrists and ankles. Maybe you want to stretch long along your mat or curl into a little ball one last time, just before rolling over to one side and making your way to a comfortable seated position. From here, we can all take a breath together. Inhale, sweep the hands up overhead. Exhale, draw the hands through heart center. You can rest your hands in prayer at heart center, or just resting them over the heart or back down into your lap, whatever feels best. I want to thank you so much for allowing me to be your guide today, for allowing me into your personal private yoga practice spaces. I hope this felt invigorating and challenging and stretchy. A little bit of everything today. Until we have a chance to practice again, take care. Okay. Thanks, everyone. I hope that was, like I said, a little bit of everything and exactly what you needed. Have a great week. We'll see you here next week. Bye.